Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the regular council meeting of Monday, April 8th at 4:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have a few opening comments. Tom, would you like to start, please?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I'd just like to congratulate and thank the Drumheller Area Health Foundation for putting on their Festivale on the weekend. Very well attended and raised lots of money for the Drumheller Hospital. And just thank you again to the incredible business support in Drumheller for all of the donations for the silent auction and for the incredible entertainment that we had. So it was a very successful event, and thanks to everyone who helped out.
Thank you, Tom. Patrick?
I just want to say congratulations and thank you to the Dragons for a great season of entertainment and hockey. Unfortunately, the second round is as far as we got, but nonetheless, it was great for the community to see them go that far, and congratulations.
Wonderful. And I'd just like to send happy birthday to Bryce Nemo. Bryce used to be a mayor here in the Valley, and he just turned 90 years old. And I hope I'm as fit as he is at that age. So, Bryce, happy birthday. Thank you for everything you do for the committee or community, and thank you for your continued support throughout. All right. Do we have any additions to the agenda? Nope. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented, please? Stephanie?
I move that council adopt the agenda for the April 8th, 2024 regular council meeting as presented.
Seconder, please. Lisa? All in favor? Carried. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes of the regular council meeting on March 18th, please? Patrick?
I move that council approve the minutes of the March 18th, 2024 regular council meeting as presented.
Seconder, please. Stephanie? Comments? Tony?
Yeah, just amendment to the minutes there at the end of 7.3.1. The last three lines, which start with proposed motion, should be deleted.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, Patrick, will you accept a friendly amendment? All right. And Stephanie, you'll accept the seconder?
Yes, I do.
All right, all in favor? Carried. Okay, we have a public hearing at 5:30, so I'll watch the clock closely. So we'll move on to 7.1, please, Dagan. 7.11.
Thank you, Mayor Kohlberg. I have two requests for decision before council this evening for moving forward on expropriation for two parcels in Knack Mine, and this land is needed to be able to construct the Knack Mine berm. The first one is for a portion of the lot located at 712 Hunter Drive in Knack Mine. And so we did approve, a resolution approving expropriation was passed by council in January of this year, and the landowner has been notified. That was registered at land titles as well, and we did not receive any notice of objection. So we're now able to move forward with the second stage, a certificate of approval to proceed with expropriation. We did offer this landowner fair market value for the land, and that offer was rejected. And we have not had any further discussions with them since that time. The cost for the land purchase and associated legal fees are covered by the provincial government under our land acquisition grant, and we may also apply to the federal funding partners to cover a portion of the land costs only. There's a new section in the request for decision I will highlight. Workforce and resources impact. So by moving forward with the acquisition of land by expropriation, it is extra work for the flood office. So approximately 2 days of time to prepare the council documents, get the expropriation registered at land titles, and that's assuming no objections are filed. It's also additional time for legislative services staff preparing for the council agendas, and then the document signing and registrations. And additionally, we do require support from legal counsel and a professional surveyor, which is an additional cost to the town as well through the expropriation process. In terms of communication strategy, once the certificate of approval is registered with land titles, we will notify the impacted landowner and anyone with interest on titles, as well as advertising as required. Again, as soon as that's registered with land titles. So we are recommending to move forward with this certificate of approval so that we are able to obtain the land that we need to build the Nakmine berm.
Thanks, Dagan. Council, can I get a motion, please? Steph, or Crystal?
I move that council approve the certificate of approval and resolution for expropriation pertaining to portion of the parcel of land described as Plan 202E0, Parcel D, containing 4.7 acres more or less, accepting plan drainage ditch site number 2037JK, acres more or less, 0.35, title number 021280028.
Seconder, please. Lisa, comments? Lisa?
I just want to note for the listening public that it is actually only 0.35 acres of 4.7 acres that is required for the berm, so it's not a full buyout.
Thank you. Anybody else? Tony?
Just a quick question on the labor costs in the process of going through this, just for one thing from the flood office here. Is that covered by the program or the town?
So those fees, the overall management fees, would be paid under the program. However, that is money that is then taken away from building berms.
Yeah, so let's so the listening public understand that this just every time we go into these, it's just another accrued cost that we've got to see where it goes at the end. All right, anything else, council? All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Dagan. 7.1.2, please.
So similarly, the second request for decision is also for a certificate of approval. So proceeding with the second stage of expropriation for the parcel located at 748 Hunter Drive in Nakmine. So the first stage of expropriation, the resolution approving the notice of intent to expropriate, was passed in January by council, and the registered landowner has been notified along with anyone with an interest in the property. And we did not receive any notice.
Here.
So we're now able to move forward with the next stage of expropriation, the certificate of approval. This particular parcel used to be two separate pieces of land, but in the interim, while we were undertaking the expropriation process, the landowner has had the two parcels amalgamated. So there is a bit of a land description change at this second stage of expropriation from the first stage, but the notice of intent to expropriate does stay on the land title with that amalgamation. In terms of the financial impact, again, the costs are covered by our funding partners from the Alberta government under the land purchase grant, and as well we can apply for some federal funding for a portion of the land. Similar workforce and resource impact for this one as well. And in terms of communication, the notice of expropriation will be served upon the landowner, along with notice of possession and notice of proposed payment, as required by the legislative timelines once it's registered at land titles. So again, we're recommending that council move forward with this second stage of expropriation to acquire the land needed for Nakmine berm.
Motion, please, council. Tony?
I move that council approve the certificate of approval and a resolution for expropriation pertaining to a portion of the parcel of land described as descriptive plan 2410629, lot 4A, title number 241070081.
Seconder, please. Lisa? Comments? Lisa?
And so, just for you, Dagan, I'm curious. So, amalgamating both titles together, does it hold up the process, or does it increase cost, or decrease cost, or like? I'm struggling to try to find out or figure out why one would, during the middle of an expropriation, join both titles? There must have been a cost at the time to the homeowners, right?
Yeah, potentially the homeowner would have had to pay the cost for the registration at land titles. It shouldn't impact us in the expropriation process. I just flagged it because the title description has changed for this parcel from the last time we looked at it.
Anybody else? All right, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Thank you, Dagan. We'll move on to 7.2.1, please. Victoria?
Good evening, Council. So this is a request for Council to approve the request to make to the ministers to file the financial statements as well as the financial information returns with the deadline extensions. So under the under the MGA, the statutory deadline is May 1st. Right now, the auditor is still working on the audit. As I mentioned in the RFD, this is just a preemptive measure, just in case that we couldn't meet the deadline, so we can have this extensions formally approved by the ministers. The rationale is that that is a new requirements under the accounting rules, the assets retirement obligations, and as this is a new requirement and then for the past years and even now, we do have some key senior management positions vacant. The lack of the in-house advice kind of take a toll on the delay on getting the financial informations ready. But as I mentioned, the auditor is working on this right now, and we're still aiming to meet the deadline. If not, we still have something in the back pocket to satisfy the minister's requirements.
Okay, can I get a motion, please? Lisa?
I move that council direct the chief administrative officer to submit a request no later than April 15th, 2024 to the Government of Alberta for a financial reporting extension, which includes the audited financial statements and financial information return.
Seconder, please. Patrick, comments? So I just want to just clarify then, so it's, you guys think you're still on track to get this. However, due to this asset retirement obligation that's been added and a few other things, you're just basically want to just make sure, because if something happens, you don't, then we are all, oh, okay, that's all right. I just want to clarify that. Okay, all in favor? Carried, thank you. All right, let's move on to 7.3.1, please. And Darrell, you're going to present that, please?
Yes. Excuse me, yes, I am. Thank you, Your Worship. So this is the request for decision now for the flag, pole, banner, and decorative crosswalk council policy that was brought before you for request for direction early last month, in the month of March. So at that time, most parts of the policy that was revised was acceptable. There was some concern about the crosswalks and whether or not those were going to disappear, whether or not the town was actually looking to get rid of crosswalks. I think at that time, the discussion was around crosswalks. These whatever crosswalk it is tends to get a lot of use and abuse. Most municipalities aren't using crosswalks anymore. They're trying to get them off the roadways and onto sidewalks, onto pathways, and onto murals, as we had discussed at that last meeting. So since then, we met with several members of the community about a week or so ago, or 2 weeks ago, to talk about some options that we could have for putting the decorative panels or decorative displays on an area that won't get much use and abuse, and will actually last longer and will provide a better product to the community and to the users who are putting those on. And so we've looked at changing the one part around decorative, making it a decorative trail. We have identified an area in Midland near the hospital where there is, I guess for lack of better, is very good asphalt there that can have a good preparation of paint applied to it that will last for at least a year at a time. We're looking to make these panels, the applicants would apply and they would make these panels the width of the pathway, 20 meters long. And then that way we can have, I think we think we can have 12 or 13 paths or different panels in there from different groups. So it gives a great opportunity. It's a very good, I think a good photo opportunity, as well as just a great spot to kind of tie all of the stuff together in the community. So really those are the only two changes, or those are the changes we've talked about. So again, trying to get it off the street and the traveled surface, which doesn't last at all. I think I noted in the document that Banff had taken theirs off the street, put it on a trail system. I'd mentioned at the meeting last time how Palm Springs and all of the cities down there have taken all of their sidewalk crosswalks and moved them onto murals or onto actually private patio type areas, just for the same reason. It's not about picking and choosing on a group. It's just actually about trying to make the actual material that's applied last for a lot longer than what has been happening in Drumheller and elsewhere. So basically we think that this is in good shape now, and we believe that the request is the process to do this for both flags and for decorative trails is pretty solid. And so we're recommending that council pass this policy so that we can implement it for this summer.
Great, thanks, Daryl. Can I get a motion, please, council? Patrick?
I move that council approve policy INF-C-01, flag, pole, banner, and decorative trail policy as presented.
Seconder, please. Tom, comments? Crystal?
Just a clarification on 6.2. It reads, oh, no, sorry. I wrote down the wrong one. It's the in-kind request. Come back to me. I gotta find it. I wrote it down the wrong one.
Okay. Tom, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I'd just like to make a couple of comments. I think this policy is pretty good. One thing, however, that I always mention when we're doing policies, when we're doing bylaws, is that these things are not written in stone. This is, I think, a very good policy, but as with every policy and bylaw, we will be looking at it and seeing how it works. And there might be some things in it that work and some things that don't work. And then we can review it again. I really do like the pathways, as Daryl said. The pathways, I think, will be better than a crosswalk in a number of ways. I'm just looking at the incredible work that our Rails to Trails group has done in the valley, and we are going to have a trail system in this valley that will be the envy of any community in Alberta. When we get the trail finished, I mean, you'll be able to go from the museum all the way to the hoodoos fairly quickly. And there is going to be thousands and thousands of people that are going to be using that trail. And so I think putting the rainbow crosswalk on a trail and other murals on the trails in recognition of different groups will be much more visible. And as Daryl said, the wear and tear on it should be considerably less. And I guess one other thing that people don't realize is the number of movies that we've had downtown where we literally had to repaint the crosswalks and then paint it again. And so we have that enviable position in the province of having movies in our downtown area. And this would help facilitate that. So I think it's also good in terms of the town being visible in its recognition of diversity and inclusion. That, you know, we feel very proud of our stance, I think, and our commitment to diversity and inclusion. But we have to be seen as being doing that. We can't just do it. We have to be, I think, visible doing it. And this is a way that I think will help that visibility and reinforce what we believe.
Thanks, Tom. Crystal?
Yes, now, just there is some errors in the numbering. So page 3, or page 2 starts at 6.1 and then page 3 starts at 6.2. So just the numbering of those need to change so it correlates. But I am speaking about 6.2 on page 3. It's about the community assistance grant as an in-kind request, even though the process to request to have decorative trails goes through the community assistance grants. It's still at the cost of the organization that's doing the request. So I just want to make that clear because it kind of reads like, oh, we're asking for in-kind contribution, but it's just the process of how that's happening. So not sure if that needs to be a little bit more clear or not. So, and the only concern I have with it being out there is the lack of surveillance. So hopefully the community will also be eyes for the town to ensure that things are not getting damaged out there because there is no type of surveillance. So just, making sure community members are also checking on it. So thanks.
Thank you. Denise, you got that? Okay. Anybody else? Lisa?
Well, I had a nice little pre-ramble, but I think Tom took them all. So anyways, I really like the idea of it being on the trail pathway system. Most of the traffic we get through Drumheller goes out to the museum, so it'll be nicely on display there. I did like the mural idea, but I hope with this policy it doesn't stop the community groups from going after the dinosaurs and getting new dinosaurs and putting symbols or whatever on them, because like everything else with infrastructure, it needs to be updated. But other than that, I think it's good.
Patrick?
Just, echoing a bunch of what has been said, I hope this reaffirms the council's support for diversity and the strength of our community. I also want to say that I'm very grateful for the work of the administration, you, Mayor Kohlberg, you, Councillor Zersky, and the people in the community that provided input. I think it's important that we have these voices heard. And yes, it does have potential to be a great attraction and a great visible spot.
Tony?
Yeah, I'd like to also thank administration for the work on this policy. I do, however, want to focus on the process that this and other policies go through. So back in January, council asked administration for a presentation. We got that presentation in a draft form in March, and then we followed with community consultation after that to get here today for a final draft. I think through a consensus of all the parties, we've set out to what we achieved, and that was to add clarity to the policy, to add guidelines to both the flag and the decorative trail areas, and to expand the policy to allow for greater participation in community events and other organizations. It does provide alternate location and better wear resistance and longevity for the repainting of the design. So, and yet we've maintained the welcoming and inclusive community for all, which was the intention of the original policy and flows well into this one here. So that said, it has my full support.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. I'm in agreement, obviously, with everybody here and how excited I am to see the new murals and how excited I am that they're on the way to the museum for everybody to see. So thank you to administration and everybody's input and the community. Thank you.
All right. Well, go ahead, Denise.
Sorry, I was just looking at what Councillor Sereda had said. So I think the way to do that is we'll just take out from that 6.2 on page 3, we'll take out as an in-kind request. And that way it's just the process of going through the community assistance grant. And then from there, the CAO and Director of Infrastructure can work with the community groups, depending on whether it's a flag or a pathway panel, if that would work.
Okay, so Patrick, you made the motion. We accept a friendly amendment to that.
I'm amiable to the amendment.
Okay, and Tom, you second it? Okay, perfect. And I would just like to thank, we have members here from the Badlands Pride Association, represented from Indigenous and from the library who works with many different cultures. And I want to thank them all for being willing to sit with Tom and I, share ideas, give us locations, and together we were able to come up with a really good solution. This is really kind of a unfortunate situation it got to here. This was absolutely no intent to do this. However, I'm glad that we were able to get here with the support of all the rainbow community and the Indigenous community, everybody else. So I think we've got something that we can work towards, and we're excited to see applications come in and get them going this spring, and hopefully we'll have some to see this summer. And thank you to administration. I love the fact that you've put the Drumheller Valley and the logo also into the design, because again, it's just perfect to see that together we're working on these things. So I was just finally want to thank, I know Denise has worked on this a lot, Kelsey worked on it a lot, Greg, Daryl, Mitchell, everybody there was a lot of hands to put this thing together. So thank you to all, and Brett from communications for the effort that you've made. And hopefully we will now have, and if we, it's like any other bylaw, if we see things along the way that we've missed, we can go back and fix them. But I think this is definitely a very, very solid, well thought out, lots of effort put into it to make sure that we had this the best we could. So thank you to everyone. So all in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, that leads us to 4:56, and we have a public hearing at 5:30. We are done, and unfortunately, I know that you're here for the public hearing, but we have to wait till 5:30. So if you want to go grab a pop or hang out, it's up to you. But I will put these council for a motion to just go and recess till 5:30. So can I get a motion, please, Crystal?
I motion for us to adjourn until 5:30 p.m.
Seconder, Lisa, all in favor? Carried, thank you. All right, Daryl, you're on the welcome back, everyone. We will now start the open public hearing at 5:30. The public hearing is for proposed road closure bylaw 10.24 Rosedale Railway Avenue. So Daryl, can I ask you to talk about the road closure, please?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. So this is really a sort of a cleanup of an railway avenue in Rosedale. In front of a couple of properties there, there's a very large right of way, and so the actual town property or provincial road right of way goes quite a ways onto the property for of these two residents. And during the discussions around berm purchase or land purchases for berm construction behind their house, the suggestion was to actually see if there was willingness to sell them some of the front yard that they're using right now. So we are, just give me 1 second. I'm just going to bring this screen up here for everyone. So sorry, David told me I had to get out, but so we look on the drawing of this area. So this area in the hatched was basically about 50 feet wider than most road right of ways, because there was at one point the rail line that fed the Star Mine used to go down this roadway here. So this this is we're looking to close this areas A, B, C, and D. So area A is a piece of land that's adjacent to the property owner at Mr. Curel. Area B is right in front of his house. Area C is Gowden and Constable property in here. And then this is a piece of land that is a small tail that we are purchasing some of Gowden and Constable's land in this area here. And this just sort of ties in quite well to sort of finish that off. So if we look at an air photo of the area, excuse me, and you can see how this is the approximate areas in yellow of the road right of way as we see it right now. And where we're proposing to have the new edge of the right of way is this land or this line adjacent to the street line that's along here. So you can see that there's quite a bit of land adjacent or that is actually a right of way that is their front yards of these two properties in here. So basically what we are looking to do is try to solve an issue that's been longstanding that people probably didn't know about. Previous owners didn't know that they didn't own some of this land here. So anyway, that's it for the overview.
Thanks, Daryl. Okay, rules of conduct for public participation. All the material associated with public hearing will be included in the package being sent to Alberta Transportation. We request only present material associated with the proposed bylaw. If there are any questions, we need to address them in a future meeting. We ask you to respect the views of everyone here and allow each person time to speak. And council may ask presenter questions once the presentation is finished. So has anyone registered remotely, Denise?
No,
Do we have presenters here tonight?
we do. Mr. David Curl is here.
All right, well then, David, I will let you come forward and I'll get you to begin by stating your name.
Good evening, everybody. My name's David Curl, and I'm a resident of Rosedale and one of the people who's affected by this supposed road change.
So I have to ask this question because I know it's probably difficult, but are you in support or opposed or trying to get answers?
I'm supporting
Okay.
the closure of the road.
Okay.
I mean,
all right, so I will let you have the floor.
yeah, basically I'm just looking to get what I thought was the property when I bought the place. As you can see by the maps, it isn't basically going to affect any existing road that is there right now. And that's basically about it.
Okay, so does anybody have questions? So we actually thank you for coming to meet with us today. David met with us at Coffee at Council, so it was wonderful. So bottom line is and just clarify if I'm saying things out of school here, but when you bought this, there was no discussion as to real property report and stuff. So you didn't know at the time that that was on right of way property.
No, I didn't. I mean, the only discussion I had was with my realtor, and I said, from the railroad ties up to the Rosebud River, and then the triangle back past the fire hydrant was all the property that I was buying to the curb, and she said yes, and that
Okay.
was what I went with when I bought it.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess, again, thank you to administration. They're trying to fix this for you and
Yeah.
for everybody going forward so that at some future date, you're not caught in this. We can get it fixed once and for all. Lisa?
Thank you, David. I just wondered, did you buy title insurance?
No, I didn't get title insurance.
Okay, because usually the law offices offer it, and I think they solve a lot of these problems, especially when it comes to having to purchase land. So, just thought I'd ask. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, so, and then you are working with the flood team?
Yeah.
And Dagan has confirmed that, so that's good. So do you have anything else you want to share with us?
Not really. Just I've put a lot of work into maintaining and keeping up that portion that is part of that road right away, and I just would like to have it back.
Okay, well, we will leave that with the flood team and Daryl. Daryl's online, so he's aware of the whole situation. And obviously, we can see that that basically cuts half of your driveway circle there. Okay. All right. Denise, do we have any written submissions?
No, we do not.
Okay, does council have any final comments? Okay, so thank you for your input. We take this information, we ask administration to investigate and do, honestly, we try to get these things resolved. Just to, so that it's good for the community as a whole going forward, where everybody knows who owns what property and where the boundaries are. So I would like to declare the public hearing closed on proposed road closure bylaw 10.24 Rosedale Railway Avenue closed at 5:38. All right, so thank you for attending, David, and I'm sure that we have all the confidence in our administration to get this resolved for you.
We're still looking at 12 to 15 months to get this all finalized.
That I'm gonna
That's what
actually
was in the-
let Dagan and Daryl deal with that timeline. Or Daryl's about, he's there.
Yes, that's right, David. It's it's about 12 to 15 months from this point. Maybe it's a bit faster. It all depends on the province and how quickly the Minister of Transportation comes, signs it, and sends it back to us. But we've been experiencing long delays with them on every one of our road closures to date. So.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
All right, thanks so much. All right, council. Can I get a motion to adjourn this council meeting of April 8th, please? Tony,
I move that council adjourn the meeting.
seconder, please. Stephanie, all in favor? Carried. Thank you for everyone who's been with us this evening, and we will see you next week. Have a great week. Take care.